Ryan. How are you?
Doing good. How are you doing, Brittany?
Pretty good. Would you have time to answer a quick 18 questions?
Yeah, I'll do my best to answer them as best I can.
Great. So what's your position at Aquaterra and how long have you worked here?
I've been at Aquaterra for 15 years. I've worked in a lot of different spots throughout operations, but currently I'm the solid waste assistant manager.
So would you rather win an Olympic medal or a Nobel Prize? And if so, for what?
That's an easy question. I'd want to win a gold medal in fencing.
So if you had your own talk show, who would be your first guest and what would be your first question?
My first guess would be probably Wayne Gretzky. And I'd probably surprise him with a question about why didn't you come to my basketball game like you said you would?
So how can you dispose of batteries and what happens when they are not disposed of properly?
Yeah, so I think the big thing about batteries is that don't put any type of battery in your curbside collection bin. A lot of battery types have been known to explode and catch fire. Based on the various types of batteries, they're all hazardous to our operation, whether it comes from a laptop, an electric toothbrush, or any other type of gadget. Something that we deal with at the landfill when batteries are put in with the residential garbage is that they cause fires right on the actual landfill face. So it causes a lot of disruption with our team, and it actually causes a lot of safety hazards that we try to mitigate regularly. If you want to dispose of batteries properly, no matter what type of battery you have, bring it to our eco center, and we have programs in place to take those batteries off your hands.
So have you ever met anyone famous?
Yeah, I met Wayne Gretzky.
Little foreshadowing in that last question.
Yeah, so long story short is I was playing basketball back in my post-secondary days, and I met Wayne Gretzky at a hotel, and he got on the elevator with Mark Messier. We ended up talking. The cool thing about Wayne Gretzky is that he just wanted to know everything about me. He didn't really want to talk about Wayne Gretzky, so I really appreciated that about him. But he did say that he would come to our basketball game against Concordia that night, and he didn't show up, but I understand that he's a pretty busy guy.
So what are some of the changes happening at the Eco Center in regards to household hazardous waste?
Something that we provide to the community is that if you've got leftover, chemicals that you use to clean things around your house, or you've got a little bit of old gas or a little bit of old antifreeze that you've used from vehicles, we have a program where we can take that off your hands and dispose of it in an environmentally responsible way. But there's a couple things that we need from you. We need you to have them in the original container if you can, and that container's got to be sealed up pretty tight for us to transport it. And the main thing is that we used to have a hazardous program that really involved a bunch of different categories, but one small change that we've made is that we've narrowed that down to 4 main categories. So if you have something that's either toxic, flammable, it's an aerosol, so it's under pressure and usually you need to spray it, or it's corrosive, so it actually has the potential to harm your skin. So if it fits in those 4 categories, you can bring it down to us, and as long as it's sealed and we know what it is, we'll take it off your hands for you.
Should hazardous waste be labeled?
The only thing that really allows us to properly dispose of it is that we actually have to know what it is. And so we try to work with the customers regularly. We'll ask you questions, what did you use it for? Where did you get it? And usually, the majority of the time, we find out what it is. And that will allow us to label it. So if you don't have the original container that has the label on it, work with our staff and have that friendly conversation about what it is. And we'll be able to throw a label on there for you.
So what is the best advice or lesson you could offer to your kids?
Well, something that we talk about quite a bit. So I've got 3 boys. They keep me pretty busy. The thing that we talk about a lot in our family is no matter what, don't ever give up. Yeah, that's just kind of our family motto. So that's, I guess, the best advice that I can give my boys right now.
So what's your biggest pet peeve?
I guess my biggest one is when someone's not being heard, or I'm not hearing somebody. So I think it's very important for people to be heard if they have an idea, if they have a concern. When I see people not being heard on that kind of bugs me a little bit.
What happens to yard waste?
We take yard waste at the landfill during our summer hours, which is usually about the beginning of April till about the start of October. And we use yard waste as a part of our landfill gas collection system. The landfill gas collection system reduces greenhouse gas emissions by capturing the landfill gas collected underneath the landfill. And we have a technology that captures it, and it uses that gas towards energy. And that provides heat and electricity to our neighboring water and wastewater treatment plants.
So what can be disposed of at no charge at the landfill?
Well, there's a number of things that we take on for customers at no charge, and it actually helps us out because we use the material as a part of our everyday operations. So the main thing that we take for free is any type of yard waste, sod, tree branches, as long as they're not too long. So anything over 4 feet requires us to do a little bit more processing, and you can be charged for that. But yard waste, like I said before, is also collected at the curbside starting April 1st. So just place it in a clear bag, and as long as it's not too heavy, so it's under 50 pounds or around 20 kilos, keep it about 1 meter from your recyclables and in your cart, and we'll pick it up on that same collection day. The other thing that is no charge, something that's kind of simple, is tires, right? So there's a provincial tire program that's managed through ARMA, and we have electronic waste, which is also managed through Alberta's recycling authority, and we take those free of charge from you. If you have other material with you, we'll ask you to run through the scale twice just so that we can capture that. In the end, those are the things that we take for free.
So what was your first concert?
My first concert was actually an Ice Cube concert and Mac 10, another hip hop artist, opened up for him.
Are composting options available to residents?
Residents can keep their yard waste and use it for their own composting. Again, if you've got waste in vegetables and fruits and other composting materials, it's not something that we provide to the public because we can't necessarily control the source of where that composting material comes from. Some compost can be contaminated, such as pesticides and other types of animal waste, and we can't control that at the source, so that's why we don't provide it. But we do encourage people to compost.
If you had any new skill or talent instantly, what would you choose and why?
Well, I really like to golf, and I'm not very good at it. I try really hard, so I get an A for effort. But if I could have any type of talent, I would like to play golf like Rory McIlroy.
So are there any new changes at the landfill?
It's a very unique team because it's a team that's always challenging the status quo, and we're always looking for innovative ways to manage waste. We're looking at better ways to dispose of products. We're looking at better ways to compact garbage. We're looking at all kinds of ways that we can get the best value out of the space that we use there, because we want the landfill to be environmentally responsible. We are looking at an option for a shredder. To put it into basic terms, what we try to do is we try to compact as much garbage into a small space. So we're not taking up as much of the landfill itself. So if you take the waste and you put it through a shredder, it makes those garbage bits smaller. So it actually makes it easier for us to compact. So we actually get more space available for more and more garbage. It really increases the life cycle of the landfill, and we're hoping to introduce that technology in the future.
Why can I mix my recycling at the curb, but not at the eco center?
The curbside mixed recycling is more for the convenience for the customer. We want to be able to take your recycling off your hands as easy as possible. And the reason why we do that is because the way the recycling is processed from the curbside is a little bit different than other ways. So the recycling that you put into your blue bag, we actually collect it and we take it out to a materials recovery facility, or we call it a MRF, and I'll use a MRF, kind of moving on, that separates them out. So all of the recycling is collected and baled, and then it's sent to a MRF where it is actually separated based on its type. So we actually have big processing facilities in Edmonton and Calgary that actually do that work for you. The Eco Center recycling does require materials to be separated in the marked blue bins. So when you come here, you're going to see these very large blue bins that are hauled away with large trucks. And the reason why we have to do it is because of the amount of material and the size of it. So it's more in bulk. The material that comes from these facilities actually aren't sent to a MRF. They're sent to processing facilities that are more for larger amounts, and they deal with just the single type of recycling stream. Recycling can be hard, so always ask before you place it or you're unsure. We have a great team that's on site here at the Eco Center that if you just ask the quick questions, and if you're a little bit unsure, and if not, you can call our hotline and we'd be able to help you.
So if you could watch only one movie for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Probably Snatch or Fight Club.
What's the first rule of Fight Club?
Don't ever talk about Fight Club.
So what in school has most helped you with your job?
Probably gym. Let me clarify the reason why gym. I was an athlete growing up, and although I did pretty well in my core subjects, I always found myself gravitating towards the gym. So I was always competitive. I was always working with teams. I was always on teams. I was sometimes a leader of a team, or sometimes I played a role in a team. And I felt that every time that I was in the gymnasium or I was being taught in some type of sport, being a part of a team was really the best part of school for me. And it's really allowed me to transition as a leader in my own career here at Aquaterra. So it wasn't just gym itself, but it was actually the whole concept of it.
Well, thanks so much, Ryan, for joining us today. We really appreciate all your answers.
Yeah, I hope it was helpful, and shout out to the team for requesting me to do this. It was actually really, really fun, Brittany, so thank you.